It's every type of classic scenario. You encounter your target. You're told to bring them in alive, you and your party. But other members have certain plans. As the paladin and the fighter draw near to capture their prey, a spark of energy flashes across the field, striking your target, turning him to gray ash. Your party looks behind to see the warlock standing there laughing. I'm sorry. I'm evil. Hello everyone, my name is Rick Quasar. Welcome back to Dungeons and Dragons and Discussions. Now, we've all have had that truly unfortunate evil character stirring up all of the interesting conflicts. But are they really the worst though? I mean, we have all sorts of different alignments on the table right here. And, well, evil characters may seem to have the most destructive capabilities, do they? Well, today I have two guest stars with me, and they and I are going to be talking about that. So let me just get them on right here. I love this. I'm going to put this part in, but I love this because I know this is going to cause some dispute. On your left is my man Enoch, who has been quite dark certain times.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. And on my right is Ember, the goody two shoes pacifist. Welcome, lady and gentlemen. Tonight we are discussing a big question regarding alignment. And here we go, right off the bat. Is chaotic good just as destructive as chaotic evil?
Ooh, that's a really tough question.
Depends.
I don't know, because I tend to play good characters more often than I play evil characters, and I've played several chaotic good characters. It can be very destructive. One time I gave money to a very, very poor society and put them in a completely different spending bracket than they were before, and all the power went to their heads, and it turned to a debacle, and the society went downhill, crime rates went up. It can be pretty destructive. Being chaotic in general can be pretty destructive.
Mm-hmm. But usually, so my role here is to be devil's advocate. Now, we have, evil man doing things for his own benefit, and then we have good person doing things for others' benefits. So, yes, it shouldn't be as destructive, right?
I guess you'd have to define what's destructive and what's the benefit. She said, chaotic good can be intended for others' benefit, but why was the money given out? And what was the benefit? Was it the benefit of the individual who received the money, or was it for the benefit of the town? Or is it how big is the benefit versus what the destruction?
To help my conscience.
Or to help the conscience. Yeah, it benefits her conscience at the expense of the economic stability of the town.
So the question here is there ever truly good? Not sure.
That's a totally different conversation.
Is there ever truly evil?
No, there is truly evil.
Different question. Yeah.
Going back to it though, it can be destructive in that what you might be thinking is benefiting others, which is what I would say good is, trying to do something for the benefit of others or the greater good. In doing that, you can throw history off course. There's lots of stuff you can do. I kind of think of the Prime Directive from Star Trek, is not to, go in and mess with societies and whatnot. And sometimes when you're chaotic good, you think you're doing all these great things, but it can have like the butterfly effect.
Yeah, and I think one of the difference between chaotic evil destruction and chaotic good destruction is definitely intent and care. A chaotic good person will probably care that they cause some form of destruction, whereas a chaotic evil character will either not care or intentionally do it for the sake of his own benefit.
Oh, also one thing I just thought real quick. I was thinking, in a way, chaotic evil, even though chaoticness is not predictable, chaotic evil is a little bit more predictable than chaotic good. Because for the most part, chaotic evil is always going to be destructive and bad, but you don't necessarily know the effect that chaotic goodness is going to have.
I guess chaotic goodness is more dangerous since you can't predict what's going to happen.
I'm glad you asked that, Enoch, there, because let me put it this way. Now, we have the evil warlock, right? But let's talk about a chaotic good paladin. Now, the way I picture a chaotic good paladin is someone who's going to be walking around, look around and be like, "Are you a follower of what's one of the deities?"
The light.
Yeah, we'll just say the light. The general light. Are you a follower of the light? No. How dare ye, you heathen! You should join my church and my people, or I shall smite you with my God's blessing. That's what I'm picturing.
Yeah, like the Crusader type.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And just for all of you Dungeons & Dragons fan out there, think about it. Paladins, clerics, and warlocks aren't really different. One follows their own deity, the other follows the other. I mean, and they both want...
Have cooler clothes too.
Huh?
Warlocks have cooler clothes.
Yes, they do. But yes, so that's how I picture chaotic good paladin. So on that note, what do you think?
When you think of like the Crusader type, I'm not necessarily sure that's beneficial in any way, shape, or form. Does it get things accomplished? Yes. Is it beneficial and actually good in the truest sense? I'd say no.
And the pendulum swing that happens after a good crusade usually tends towards darkness because people can gather around a cause against an evil person, but man, is it a different story when a self-righteous person equipped with their own standard of morality causes destruction.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask this question. Like I said, devil's advocate. What if they don't know that what they're doing is bad? Because chaotic good, they are doing stuff with good intentions, but they're still causing destruction, right? So would that make them as destructive as someone who's chaotic evil?
I would say no, because you can't, if somebody's ignorant, I mean, you can try to educate them or whatnot, but if somebody's being ignorant, they're not being malicious, you know what I mean? It's because...
I guess it depends on whether they're teachable or not.
Mm-hmm.
Are they open to being told that what they're doing is wrong? And if they're not, then that's a whole different ball game. Then they can become dangerous.
Okay. Well, we're talking about a lot of the good side. Let's talk about the bad side. So a chaotic evil person, like the warlock, what the scenario that I was just talking about. Literally, they're just doing stuff just to either benefit themselves or just to spite. They're evil.
Yeah.
They just lash out and they destroy things, right? So, yeah, sure, that's destructive. But usually I see chaotic evil people as, like, misunderstood geniuses, right? So...
predictable.
Yeah, they're predictable in that they're going to be serving themselves.
All right. So since you said they're predictable, then that means that some of the destruction can be avoided, right?
Or mitigated, I'd say so.
Yeah, mitigated might be... Redirected or mitigated might be a better way to put it. I don't know. Personally, I'd rather play with a chaotic evil person as a good person who I typically tend to play more lawful good. I would rather play with a chaotic evil person than I would play with a chaotic good person.
Because
It's
chaotic.
harder to rein in a chaotic good person.
See, no, I'll disagree with you there though, because chaotic
Oh, really?
good, you have a little bit more of a freedom because you are chaotic in the sense that I'm doing this. You better listen to my message or I will smite your head off. That's chaotic good, right? You have a bit more. You have a bit more of a freedom than you would have with a lawful good person. Now, not as much freedom. You're not just gonna walk around, take your godly warhammer, and smash someone for no reason.
Yeah.
A chaotic good person wouldn't do that. But would a
Yeah.
chaotic good person turn to a rogue and tell you, "Why don't you follow my cult?" Yes, they would, and then threaten to do harm. That's a chaotic good person.
Yeah, no, I agree
Okay.
with you on that. I agree
Mhm.
with you on that. I still think that chaotic good is harder to play with than chaotic evil, though.
Okay, so if we're saying that chaotic evil is predictable in what they're going to do, and that chaotic good is unpredictable, does that mean that the destruction that chaotic good people cause is greater because you cannot prevent it?
I'm gonna stick to my guns with this and say,
Unanticipated.
and yeah, it's not anticipated. It can have more of a ripple effect. But I would say, yeah, I think chaotic good can be more destructive than chaotic evil.
Yeah.
All right, so then that's actually right at my time mark. So let me get the official. Let me read the official yes or no. Is a chaotic good person just as destructive or more destructive than a chaotic evil person?
I have to say, we think it's a chaotic good person has a lot more potential for destruction than a chaotic evil person.
It can have long-lasting. A chaotic good person can have long-lasting ramifications, ripple effects. Whereas an evil person, it would be a one and done, blow up, and we're done.
I'm going. All right. Can I? I love the answers. Yes or no?
I'd say yes. I'd say
Yes.
yes.
All right. Well, for all of you Dungeon and Dragon parties out there, you shouldn't really be keeping an eye on that malicious looking rogue. You really should be keeping an eye on the cleric. All right, everyone. Thank you for coming for tonight. Thank you, wow, Ember and Enoch for joining. I keep wanting to call them by their other names, but thank you for joining me tonight. And for everyone else that you are watching, if you liked what you saw, don't forget to like and subscribe. And tune in next time for Dungeons and Dragons and discussions. Say goodnight, you two.
Good night.
Have a good
Thank
night.
you.
Good night, everyone.